So hi guys, I have to be quiet. Just just ignore the things. The and so this is the mom that wants to visit the house and stay here, and they're going on a camping trip. So yeah, like a trip to New York because this is LA. Yeah, this is LA, and they want to trip to New York. So yeah, they have pictures and then I'll quickly go to the shop and buy some new clothes. So yeah, this is the child, the baby. I know. This is the mom, this is the dad. This is the big brother. He's 19. Yeah, so like yeah. And let's go to the one. I can't believe it to move. Yeah. Okay, stop back my day. Can I show you this with you? I can just borrow back. I forgot. Honey, if it's your house, probably gonna buy you three. Can't put it here. Just wait real quick. Okay, so sorry for that wait. Oh yeah. Just okay. There. They're from okay, I'm back. Okay, so yeah, he's gonna put these clothes in the bag. He's gonna put our stuff. And this goes to I'm on Michael part 2, okay? I'll make part 2, okay? Bye.
Michael Jordan in high he has transcended his sport, it meant Slater missed the mid-season cut, a concept introduced last year to slim down the field. Unless he was offered a wild card, one for men and one for women, Slater would have been forced to either surf the second-tier Challenger Series or retire after a career of more than 3 decades. And finally, some big news for South Africa, and that is that South African Kirsten Neuschafer has made history by becoming the first female mariner to win a solo round-the-world race as she crossed the line on the French coast after 235 grueling days in the Golden Globe. The 40-year-old, in her boat Minnehaha, conquered the 3 capes, Cape of Good Hope, Cape of Leuven, and Cape Horn, in her 15 rivals without being allowed to perform. Invented any help or being equipped with proper navigation devices.
Oh, I forgot my skincare.
Kevin, for the love of all things good and the sake of this marriage, stop reusing the tea bags.
Switching to a more sustainable lifestyle in retirement can be dramatic. Switching to a 10x living annuity won't be. Our low fees mean you get more money every month and your money lasts longer. Visit 10x.co.za to do a free comparison report. 10x your future. Single use, Kevin. Single use. 10x living annuity is underwritten by Guardrisk Life Limited. 10x Investments is an authorized FSP.
On the 2nd of May 2023, the Northwest Provincial Legislature will host public hearings on performance protection and copyright bills at Mabana Lehurensi in Zeerust.
So the youth is there. I don't know. I've asked. They've never answered. Did they answer? I see people there.
China University of Technology ladies.
I have to make a part really
Use my phone.
I think I have to go bye. Okay, so hi guys, I quickly have to do part 3. Everyone's gonna talk right now, so yeah, so 3, 2, 1, let's go. Okay, packing is concerned. I don't think I'm good into that, so let's go. Okay. Start. So yeah. Oh, there's no time to sleep. Gotta go. Fine.
Okay, so you can help me with the picture.
Okay, so you can just go down. Let's go down, I guess. Yeah, let's go. Okay, let's go. We're gonna have feet there. One. Hey, honey. Shoot. Keep on. Oh, yeah. Okay. Lock. Ooh, goodness. Unless you can't open prison 5. It's for when you come back. Okay. Oh, yeah, Mom, you can't open the prison. We're gonna go.
As the 21st century's rising power, China's goal is to be the leading party. More than a half year into Russia's invasion, Ukraine finally began its counterattack to reclaim eastern sections of its country. Interestingly, though, Ukraine has not yet touched what might be Russia's biggest vulnerability in the region, the Crimean Bridge, also known as the Kerch Bridge. Opened in 2018, it is the main artery for human and material movement between the Russian mainland and the annexed Crimean Peninsula. Moscow was more than willing to pay the $3.6 billion price tag for the bridge because it is critical to the survival of Crimea as a Russian physical possession. It is also a significant engineering feat, spanning more than 17 kilometers and securing its place as the longest bridge in Europe. And yet, it just sits there. Ukraine has levied some vague threats against it, including this cryptic tweet from August. But approaching 7 months into the war, Ukraine has still not made a play on it. Maybe that will change eventually. But for now, it's worth asking why it has remained untouched thus far. Well, here are 10 reasons the Crimean Bridge
MTN and get free YouTube data to do more DIY, more ride, more beat, more you. Keep doing you with free YouTube data when you buy weekly or monthly MTN data bundle.
Right now, Poland is making huge strides towards accomplishing their goal of becoming the largest land force in Europe by signing a framework agreement to produce nearly 1,400 Borsuk infantry fighting vehicles. The development of this new armored vehicle tracks a unique time in Poland's history where they've managed to rapidly upscale their defense manufacturing capability, and it shows how their nation is capable of creating their own homegrown advanced defense equipment. Aesthetically speaking, some have claimed that the Borsuk looks like a weaponized shipping container, but personally, I like that boxy look. That's my fetish. We're also going to dive into the controversy about the Borsuk's amphibious capability. Is it really necessary? So, what makes the Borsuk so unique? How does the Borsuk fit into Poland's larger plan to build the most powerful army in Europe? And why is Poland doing all of this right now? And now, on to today's sponsor, Morgan & Morgan. In 2020, there were over 5 million car crashes. That's more than 15,000 a day and 600 an hour. And did you know that you're not suing the person who hit you, rather their insurance company? Those in an accident can be entitled to more than you think. Injured and don't know where to start? With Morgan & Morgan, it's so easy. With Morgan & Morgan, you can submit a claim without ever having to leave your couch. In 8 clicks or less, you can submit a claim to Morgan & Morgan. If you're ever injured in an accident, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. For more information, go to forthepeople.com or dial #law. That's #529 from your cell phone. So the reason Poland has such a focus on armored vehicles has to do with their geography. Poland finds itself situated in the northern European plains, this massive, flat, and relatively featureless section of land that spans from Russia into Germany and through France. This presents a problem for the Polish government, in that the country is inherently very difficult to defend. A lack of natural geographic choke points like mountains or valleys means that an invading military has free rein to conduct attacks that would be relatively unpredictable anywhere along the border in Poland. Combine that with the fact that Poland essentially creates an easy land corridor from Russia to Western Europe means that it's strategically a key geographic location for NATO and Russia alike. Historically, this has led to land currently within Polish borders having been invaded over 200 times, and it's created a need for massive armored formations to cover this large landmass at its borders. The vehicle Poland has used to defend this territory historically has been the BWP-1, basically the Polish name for the old Soviet-era Russian BMP-1. Poland's mechanized battalions currently consist of 1,200 Soviet-era BWP-1s. These infantry fighting vehicles were delivered from 1973 to 1988. The vehicle's outdated, but there have been some upgrades and attempts to upgrade it over the years. However, it still has major problems. The armor is lacking, its low-velocity 73mm main cannon is unimpressive by today's standards, and it stows ammunition in the passenger compartment which can be bad news for passengers under fire. For some context, Ukraine and Russia are both using the BMP-1s in the war, but Russia has been desperately using it as a measure after losing hundreds of their BMP-2s and BMP-3s in the first year of the war. So, how has Poland ended up with this ancient equipment for so long? Well, it happened kind of by accident. They entertained a number of BWP-1 upgrades over the years. The BWP-2000 IFV was proposed and canceled in the late 1990s. There was a proposed BWP-1M Puma upgrade program, which was also canceled in 2009. There was even a prototype for an Anders IFV in 2010 that was not selected for production. So we have this situation where there was really never a clear threat or pressing need to upgrade expensive armored vehicles during a time when Poland was focused on non-defense related issues, like trying to transition from being under a Soviet system to becoming a prosperous, independent economy. There were other priorities, and defense was sidelined for a time. One major action that changed this mentality was when Poland consolidated its defense industry in 2013, bringing its major armament and military equipment manufacturers together into a single entity called the Polish Armaments Group, which I won't even try to pronounce the Polish name. But this marked an important step towards Poland manufacturing and designing its own military equipment in-house, while still acquiring and licensing designs from other countries. So the Borsuk's development history. Poland decided in 2014 it was time to step up its armored vehicle production game, and it was possibly having to do with the fact that Russia had just annexed Crimea and Ukraine, and that might have speeded this process up and kind of lit fire under their booty. The Polish Borsuk IFV began development in 2014 when a $22.6 million research contract was signed between NCBR, Poland's National Center for Research and Development, and a consortium of companies led by Huta Stalowa Wola, a Polish state-owned defense contractor that operates under PGZ SA. Think about that for a second, if you will. It took only about 10 years for the Borsuk to go from development to creation off the production line. That might sound like a lot of times, a whole decade, but it's actually kind of insanely fast when you consider that Poland had no major armored vehicle manufacturing workflow that existed beforehand. So they had to set all of that up, and they got it all out in 10 years. One of the manufacturers working on the Borsuk in Poland is the Huta Stalowa Wola, which operates a steel mill in central Poland, and I also probably said that wrong. And it's been a long-time producer of heavy machinery, including heavy construction machinery like cranes and bulldozers, until they sold the civilian part of their businesses in 2012. So the group creating the Borsuk already had a background in creating machinery in Poland. The first Borsuk IFV was unveiled at the MSPO Expo, an international defense industry exhibition held annually in Kyiv, Poland in 2017. An upgraded Borsuk IFV was shown at the same event in 2018, this time featuring side skirts, applique armor on its sides, and composite rubber tracks in place of the previous year's steel slate tracks. Some trials then happened in 2019, and a new version of Borsuk featured a new trim base, new headlights, different add-on armor, and mounting points for mobile multispectral camouflage. It was clear that Poland was still in the flexible stages of their design development, iterating and improving. At this point. When the public first saw the vehicle, though, one of the first impressions was how boxy looking it was. It looked like a cardboard box with a turret. There's something really interesting to note about that design choice of flat side armor. In the past, a lot of armored vehicles went to great lengths to slope and curve the vehicles because anti-tank munitions have more difficulty penetrating sloped armor. But this might be going out of fashion now, at least when it comes to walls of armored vehicles. V-shaped underbelly holes are still a common addition on these vehicles, but the walls appear to be getting more and more rectangular and flat-shaped on Western armor. Look at the Lynx IFV, for instance, or the new American AMPV. Boxy as heck. And when I spoke directly to a representative from BAE Systems at a trade show, they explained that the rectangular boxy shape is a better design choice sometimes in some instances, depending on what it is that you mainly want to do. So especially if you need extra room for a power pack and room for soldiers and equipment, and that power pack can then power your active protection systems. The idea is that the composite armor is better than it was 50 years ago, and active protection systems could be more useful, allowing a rectangular-shaped vehicle. Crew and infantry comfort in the back is important, believe me. We tend to forget that human beings have to spend thousands of hours riding in the back of these things, and if you slope the armor for hypothetically a 5% increase in survivability, is it really worth the expense of extra room for your troops and comfortability, extra room for a javelin launcher and ammunition? These are kind of trade-offs that need to be considered when you're developing an armored vehicle. Personally, I like the Borsuk, like that it looks like it gives soldiers enough room to operate. Whatever the cost and benefit analysis of sloped armor might be versus composite and spaced rectangular armor, the Borsuk and many modern infantry fighting vehicles are deciding to go with a more boxy, rectangular appearance. But I'd be curious to know what you guys think about this design choice. It's very fascinating. By 2020, a new prototype was completed of the Borsuk, and hands-on trials took place at the Doroski Training Ground, a major center used by all NATO countries since 1946 as a kind of place to meet up and train down. After learning from those trials and errors, 4 more Borsuk prototypes were built in 2022, bringing the total development cost for the Borsuk IFV to be around $58.7 million in USD. These prototypes underwent more testing, and finally, on February 27, 2023, Poland announced its framework agreement to produce 1,000 Borsuk IFVs. Warsaw is in its early stage talks at this point with South Korea to work together to produce the Borsuk. South Korea is fast becoming Poland's go-to defense partner right now. Last year, South Korean companies signed contracts with Poland to deliver their Korean K-2 tanks, K-9 self-propelled howitzers, and the F-850 light attack aircraft. One of the fascinating design choices with the Borsuk is that it would 400 specialty-produced variants based on the same exact chassis. These variants include the Zuk tracked reconnaissance transporter, the OSET tracked command vehicle, the Go-10 medical evacuation vehicle, the Gekon armored recovery vehicle, and the Ares NBC reconnaissance vehicle. The fact that all of these vehicles will share the same chassis has some Polish sources referring to the Borsuk as the UMPG, or in English, the Universal Modular Track Platform, which reminds me of the AMPV in America, the replacement for the M113. For the Polish land forces, this is a design feature that we're kind of seeing across all of the world's next-generation infantry fighting vehicle concepts to reduce logistics and repair costs for vehicle fleets by having a common chassis. The baseline chassis version without modular armor weighs 25 tons, and that's very lightweight, but it's only then at that point, I believe, only rated for like a 7.62mm small arms bullet that could stop at that baseline version, and then the versions range up in protection to 40 tons from what I understand, and at that point, I think you're at level 6, which can stop a 30mm round from an autocannon. Poland's president recently signed into law a bill that increases defense spending to 3%, or possibly even up to 4% of their GDP going forward. It will more than double the number of troops serving in the Polish armed forces, up to 300,000. And those new soldiers will need wheels to ride in. That's where the Borsuk comes into play. So the heart of the Borsuk is its engine. It uses a power pack consisting of a Rolls-Royce 720 horsepower NTU 199 TE20 turbo diesel engine, which drives 6 gears forward and 2 in reverse. It's a Perkins X300 automatic transmission for gearheads. To give you an idea of just how big this engine is, because I need to put this into context for myself, you'd have trouble fitting this into a 1-ton truck, this engine, since it's 4 feet wide and 3.5 feet high. It weighs 2,500 pounds, which would be too big for a civilian truck to use, but it gives the Borsuk a massive amount of power and torque. It has a maximum speed of around 40 miles per hour on road, and an operational range of 341 miles. My understanding is that Rolls-Royce got about a $3 billion bid to create these engines in 2015, so they're relatively new. This is cutting-edge technology on the Borsuk. Looking at the tracks of the vehicle, the Borsuk has 6 dual rubber-lined road wheels with 2 return rollers on each. It features hydropneumatic suspension designed specifically for the Borsuk and consists of 6 independent in-arm units on each side. You can use different types of tracks if the situation calls for it. One of the most debated aspects of the vehicle that I find very interesting is its amphibious capability. And Damien Racka, defense analyst on Twitter, said that it's still a controversy in Poland. Do we really need amphibious IFVs? That's the big question. Rumors say a heavier non-amphibious variant could be developed later. So that's the big major rub here. Giving the Borsuk river fording crossing ability means it needed to be lighter weight and possibly sacrifice some armor capabilities. The Borsuk in its amphibious variant still has side armor rated at Stang 4569 level armor 4. That means it's rated for 14.5mm machine guns, like a bigger than 50 cal. At a range of 200
There wasn't any youth. So yeah,
Stang is like a
there wasn't any youth.
NATO for describing what level of ammunition can penetrate your armor. And so basically what that means is that it's still got pretty darn good protection.
Where is
It can
it?
stop more than a 50 caliber machine gun.
Oh yes,
in its amphibious
I told you that.
variant. But if you want more armor,
19
it can
minutes.
stop a 30mm round that's level 6 Stang. You're gonna need to lose that
Yeah.
amphibious capability. There are other arguments, of course, that active protection systems and advanced sensors will put the Borsuk out of range of the enemy fire, and if you're taking the first hit, then you've already done something wrong. So it looks like the vehicle can lose its amphibious capability once commanders choose to give it heavier armor. There are some who say that it's overly expensive and unnecessary design choice to give it this amphibious capability, but there are others who claim that it's an absolute necessity for Polish armored vehicles specifically to be able to cross rivers, because we've seen in Ukraine how often troops need to cross rivers, and there's an argument that the land
Don't
terrain,
argue
which in
with
Poland, there's
me,
lots of
Kim.
rivers
Okay.
that need to be crossed,
So this
that
keeps on
it's
happening
just
every
necessary
time.
for
I don't
them
know
to
why,
have
but I have
this
Wi-Fi.
ability. But when we
Look,
do
I have
look at the war
Wi-Fi.
in Ukraine, it does seem questionable how practical it really is to use
Okay,
amphibious
so
crossing
I'm gonna
techniques,
end this video
especially under
here.
fire. But it could be because those BMPs that they're using